Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another brand new video. Today we're gonna redesign some more Lego box art. Oh, is that blue milk? Ooh. Very nice. Anyway, I did that before and you guys seem to really like it. I liked it as well. So honestly, let's try the same thing but a little bit more extreme this time. You may have already guessed it since we're literally inside Jabba's Barge right now. The set I'm doing today is going to be the LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series Jabba's Barge. And there's a specific reason I chose it, setting this video apart from the previous one. Now, if you're a LEGO fan yourself, you might already be aware of this, but LEGO Star Wars The Ultimate Collector Series, and honestly most other 18+ LEGO sets nowadays, come in a different style box than other regular LEGO sets. They often showcase a clean render of the model on a plain black background. And as clean and premium this style may look, I do always kind of wonder what these would look like in a more traditional kind of design, similar to other normal Star Wars sets, where there's cool backgrounds, lots of action, and just they feel so much more alive. Hence, I picked out this set. It's actually such a huge box as well, and when I opened it up, I was even surprised with a picture of your mother. I built the whole thing in just one afternoon because that's how excited I was to get into this whole thing, and when I was finished, I was even more impressed. The detail on this thing is absolutely insane. And I thought to make this box design even more special, why not combine this with the Sarlacc Pit set, which, let's be real, it's made for it. It could be one of those 2-in-1 kind of promo sets that Walmart sometimes has, because then we're actually making something unique that doesn't exist.
Jabba!
What the bloody hell was that?
This is your last chance. Free us or die.
Yeah, I think it's time to go, lads. See you in a minute.
Bloody hell. Oh, that's convenient. Okay, well, we do actually have to get a move on things. We need to take some pictures of our Lego model, and I know just the place to do that. Let me just put in the coordinates. DEA Death Star. Let's hope it's operational. See you in a second. In my previous box art video, I expressed how I wasn't sure if the original LEGO box art images are renders or photographs. And after reading the comments and doing some research, yes, they were in fact done using photography back in the day. And that makes sense, because back then it was much more expensive and difficult to make them using 3D software. But the more recent ones, the new ones, are pretty much all renders. However, as you know, I myself am not a 3D artist, and so it makes sense for me to use photography instead, and last time it seemed to work pretty well, so let's go with it again. Anyway, it appears as though we arrived, so I'll land this and be right back with you.
A few moments later.
Hey, what's up guys? Had to clean myself up for a bit, but we are here at the Imperial Photography Room. Hey, what's up? Let's go inside. The reason I did the photography before even trying to think of a concept or composition first is because there really is only one or two usable angles in general. In order to display the model properly, a similar angle to the original is basically the only option. I set up a bunch of lights around it and began adding the minifigures to the ship, trying to find a way to showcase them nicely. Like the original box though, Jabba doesn't really fit up here, and even in the movie he is always just inside of the vehicle anyway, so I left him out of the front image. I set one light on the left to a bit of a yellowy setting, which hopefully will give it that sunlight effect later. With all this in place, I began shooting some pictures with different settings to try things out. I of course did end up with a very high aperture to minimize the depth of field. This will create a quite noisy image, but I do have a trick for that. Well, time to go to the editing room. In the meantime though, ladies and gentlemen, today's video is proudly sponsored by Skillshare, which I'm sure if you watch my channel more often, you absolutely remember. Skillshare is the largest learning community for people like you and me, for creatives, where you can learn all sorts of crafts like illustration, graphic design, music, and well, photography and Photoshop like we've been doing today. And as you know, my videos aren't really educationally focused, but if you do want that, Skillshare I definitely recommend, as it is a place for you to learn and explore at any skill level, because they have plenty of classes taught by industry experts. Now, you've probably heard me talk about Daniel Scott's courses before, so I won't repeat myself too much here, but I also really like the Fundamentals of DSLR Photography class by Justin Bridges, which will take you through the technical aspects of taking photos. Since that is what we've been doing today as well, might be fun to look into. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, learn new things, widen your horizon, Skillshare is the place to be. And especially for my viewers, the first 500 people to use the link down below will receive a month free trial of Skillshare. So really get started today. Now, big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and then let me just go over there to the office and be right back with you. I hope Palpatine doesn't mind if I borrow all this. There you go. Oh my god. They're at it again. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what we shot. I opened up these photos on my PC, and not to my surprise, they were very grainy indeed. Let's fix it. I loaded all of these identical photos into Photoshop and stacked them on top of each other in a single document. Next, I selected all these layers apart from the bottom one and set their opacity to around the 10% mark. And magically, the noise has been reduced by a lot. I absolutely love this trick. Essentially how this works is noise is random. It's alive, so to speak. Meaning, in every picture I took, the noise is a different pattern. But if you overlay a bunch of images from an identical angle, basically what you're doing is you're taking an average of every single pixel. The more layers you stack together, the cleaner the image looks. I myself stuck with 10 for this one, but of course I knew some artificial noise reduction inside Camera Raw would also work wonders. I played around with that and ended up with a pretty nice crisp image. There is still some noise of course, but I don't mind that realism being in the design later. It makes it feel more authentic. In a way. Now, next, you probably expected this, it's time to cut out this model. And I did this by hand, because I'm that much of a nitpick. I want perfect clean edges, and none of the automatic or AI-powered tools can get you those results. I did almost lose my mind over this, but hey, everything for the best result. Once the whole thing was isolated from that background, I decided I was gonna get rid of all the little imperfections. After all, this is a product image. It's gotta be in the best shape possible. All the little scratches and uneven spots were swiftly taken out, making it seem even smoother. Then for a final touch, I made sure to fix the white balance, but this really meant just bringing the monochrome colors back to true monochrome. If I did this using color balance, the gray looked good, but then the brown got all messed up. I guess doing it manually this way seems like the only option at the moment. These steps I repeated for the Sarlacc Pit, Desert Skiff, and separate image of Boba Fett. And so that means we can finally actually get to work. Now, the order in which I did all this actually differs from the previous box I did. I guess we learned from the last time. Now, the original box is this big, and this will be 300 dpi because we are going to be printing this, of course, and that is a pretty much ideal amount of pixels as well. So really, let's get straight to it. I began with arranging the elements I already had, along with the Lego and Star Wars logo on the top left corner. I did, of course, keep that top banner in mind, making sure there's enough room on top and below for other elements. And because this will be a more standard design, it will need some minifigures as well as text. So well, we have to keep that in the back of our heads. With something along the lines of this, I moved onto the fun part, creating the background. Naturally, I began with a desert photo from Envato Elements that I extended a little bit with generative fill. I hated the way this horizon looked, however, so I used a second photo to resolve that issue. I erased the parts I don't need and immediately began adding haze using a solid color. It's important to get a very strong contrast between the background and the subject, especially for functional designs like these, where the model has to be clearly and properly visible. For the sky, I added yet another photo to create a nice harmony between the top and the bottom of the artwork. This is where the color correction and grading began. There are minor changes but crucial for the final look. Mostly the hue of the sand was important because that can't be too far off from the color of the Lego bricks, of course. With that base ready, the absolute most important thing will come into play: shadows. Underneath the sail barge and the other elements, I started painting a very nice and dark shadow to really integrate them with the landscape below. This instantly made it look so much more convincing. I always loved that part. For the Sarlacc Pit, however, things didn't quite go as planned, and you really have to just bear with me through these next few minutes, because it took me a while to figure out how terrible this started looking. I didn't want to hide too much of the little build, but then also it looked super weird just to have it sitting on top of a surface. So I tried having it slightly being submerged into the sand. It looks horrendous, mostly due to the lighting of the pit. There's light coming from the front, when in the artwork the sun is clearly coming from like the top left, all the way in the distance. Like I said, bear with me here, because later we're properly going to fix this. Anyway, here and there I increased the highlights just a little bit, because well, every now and then I just like to do that, and it can definitely make it feel a bit more premium for it, especially on the desert skiff. This made it look quite nice and really made a difference. However, now for something a little bit more special, Luke's lightsaber had to be lit up to add some spice to the whole thing. I used my typical glow technique on top and afterwards applied some more light onto the side of the sail barge. I also ended up making the blade itself a little bit brighter as well, making it pop very nicely. A very similar process needed to happen for the laser shooting out of Boba Fett's blaster. That started with a simple white base, with on top an inner and outer glow inside layer styles. I put a larger reddish glow at the very top, and then I deleted that little muzzle flash because it looked ass. His jetpack for sure needed some action too, so using a little fire overlay, I made that work. It is very basic stuff luckily, so none of this took very long. With a solid start ready, I went straight back to camera raw and crisped the whole thing up even more, making it a little bit more intense color-wise. And well, yeah, just moving some sliders around until I liked what I saw. With the logos added back, it immediately kind of looks like a Lego Star Wars box, just very plain. So now we've once again arrived at the point where I need to decide what to do with that banner kind of above. In previous years, there have been just tons and tons of variations on this. And if you've seen my previous Lego box design video, you know I don't love the kind of corner that they have now. It's just a bit, I don't know, boring. So let's do a bit of a different shaped banner once again. I pen tooled a very nice curvy banner at the top, which would serve as the base shape. On top, I had the Star Wars logo, to which I added a stroke, because I didn't love how it just kind of fell off the shape that way. The logo itself, though, did have to look just a tad fancier again. And where last time we went with a more green modern type style, instead I thought it'd be fun to give it that shiny golden finish like the old days. And the way you can do that is like this. First, you add a stroke, and to that stroke apply a gradient going from gray to white, and so on. You gotta make sure that gradient is angled at about 45 degrees. Very nice. And then you have to do a very similar thing to the original logo itself. And the great thing about this is you can really just do however many gradient points you want for the specific look you're aiming for. I myself liked it this way, however now it's silver of course, and we do need to add some color. That however comes later. First I wanted to work on the banner, and I thought using that classic Lego pattern would be a great start. I found this texture on my PC somewhere, and I'm pretty sure I actually recreated this by making an actual picture of a Lego box and then editing the hell out of that, because I could never really find a high-res version of this online. But anyway, after popping that in place, I added loads of adjustment layers to the logo to make it gold, and I wish I could explain which ones, but honestly I had no idea what I was doing and it made zero sense looking back at it just now, so you'll just have to believe it. The funny thing is, this still wasn't how it was gonna look in the very end. The fun part about this one is I really just came up with all these ideas as I went along. You can clearly see I did have an idea in mind, of course, but all the tiny details really just came to me as I was working on this. The same goes for that banner. I really didn't know what to put in the corner at all. But then I came across that Vader image Lego used back in 2021 or something, and the way his saber lined up with my banner image was just too perfect not to do. It might not be the most original thing ever, but I absolutely loved the way this looked. But then I came back to that logo again because it just felt like it needed to be a bit more premium, a bit more special. Of course, this is supposed to be a normal, regular Lego set, but still, because it's so big, I felt like it would need that sort of premium premiumness. I experimented some more and actually ended up making it just an outlined logo instead, adding even some little twinkles to make it so much more shiny. The result was a nice and warm golden brown logo that matched very nicely with the rest of the set's theme. And even though none of this so far is all that daring, it is a super solid look, and I do really like that. And as far as the text on the left goes, it actually is really no rocket science. I just tried recreating the exact same text style from original boxes. And I went with black because, well, the backdrop is pretty darn bright. The annoying thing was this minifigure though. He was kind of in the way of this text looking nice. The 18 plus looked a bit awkward overlapping with the banner above, especially since that is black as well. White would have looked weird on the background and black would have looked weird on the banner. A little white edge also didn't look great. So instead I just ended up ditching the 18 plus altogether because, well, this is my design and age is only a number. Things really are taking shape, but I did miss something at the bottom. So that same black banner I used once again, except now straight and a little thinner. In the left down corner I put the Disney logo, which always is present on these boxes. And with all that in place, I realized the background is missing something. Jabba's palace. Using traditional blending techniques, I merged this image together with the background. And this is where generative fill really shines because look, is that not just... That's incredible. And this really made a difference. The backdrop now looks much less sterile, almost. Now, some may think that the box on the front is now finished, but actually one crucial thing is missing. The minifigures. Last time I was a lazy little bitch and just grabbed them from the internet, but this time I'm actually going to take photos of every single one of them and then cut them out.
A few moments later.
Once finished, all I had to do was line them up and making it all fit. Underneath their feet, I painted little shadows for the best look, along with a very subtle glow behind them. Then all that's left are their names below, and ladies and gentlemen, this whole area looks like shit. Finally, I realized how terrible that Sarlacc Pit looked, so let's fix it. I won't go too far into it, but the conclusion was more of an actual hole in the ground that the Sarlacc sits in. It also ended up being a bit further up to make sure it doesn't collide with the row of minifigures, which was the part I hated most to begin with. And I still gotta say, it's by far my least favorite aspect of this design. It doesn't really feel like it belongs, but then also how could it? It's supposed to be a hole, like a pit, but instead it's a little hill of sand. It's weird. The point is, it's better, but still not great. That does, however, pretty much conclude the design for the front of the box. So, ladies and gentlemen, last time we basically skipped over the whole back side of the box, and today I will do half that. Most of it is of course just the same thing again, except for some different kind of elements, which last time I just grabbed from the original box. I stole it. No effort at all. Very lazy. Today we're actually gonna do some custom design work, but all the photography and the basic editing of the base image I will skip over. This is the image I made for it in Jabba's kind of, garage. All the fancy stuff is missing though, so let's do that right now. And if I'm correct, Gary is currently available to show you a very cool trick. So Gary? Hello?
Yes?
Yes? Take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Camera Raw. As you can see, Benny has taken this picture for us, which we are going to use. Inside of here, the first thing we want to do is go over to detail and make sure the smoothing is on all the way. We also want to make sure the texture is insanely high, along with the clarity. Here you go.
I actually cannot see anything. Yeah, that looks about right. Then
increase shadows by quite a lot. As you can see, that is very much needed.
Yeah. Also detail. We really just want to make sure this is as crisp as possible. But I do think this is about right. Then
we will open this up in Photoshop. Over here in Photoshop, all we need to do is go ahead and click remove background. I hope that... I was gonna say I hope this works. It clearly doesn't. Oh, bloody hell, I'm gonna have to do this by hand. I'll see you in 3 light years after this is finished. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We make this into a smart object. Then we go to filter and choose filter gallery. Then in this dialog box, we go to sketch and choose
photocopy, that's the one. Then
you go and play with these settings to get kind of a sketch-like effect. So make sure the lines are nice and dark. something like this. When you think, yes, this is pretty good, you click OK. Then now, you go to adjustments, grab vibrance, and make this nice black and white. And the same thing, but with levels, and then making sure that the black is really nice and black and the white is really nice and white.
Once again, I cannot see anything.
What we'll do then is go into that and choose stroke. That is one hell of a stroke. We're gonna make that nice and black and make it a little bit thinner, of course. Something like this. What you could also do is make sure the white is gone by using blend if, as you can see, just like this, making sure all the light tones are gone. Click OK, and then you've got yourself a beautiful sketch. Now,
Benny is going to show you how to use this in your actual artwork. So I will see you guys later. This graphic will of course be used for the scale indication big Lego sets tend to have. I put the little line underneath with the width in centimeters and inches, and there you go. All that's left to do now is just adding some images from the movies and set close-ups. But I began with that Lego link you see here, which for now I put in the left down corner. For the image boxes, I wanted to do something a bit more fancy than just a black rectangle, so I made a nice shiny edge to match the rest of the box. I inserted some shots from Return of the Jedi that I thought would fit well, and I really kept on moving these around up until the very end. Then another box with these Sarlacc Pit's functions, for which I drew little arrows indicating they can move around. And then from here, I just kept on rearranging everything until I was happy with it. Oh, and of course, I also added Jabba and his plaque, because why not? And well, with everything in place, then the back of the box is also finished. Then as far as the top, bottom and sides go, I did basically the same thing as the original box, except in my own style of the rest of my box. It's got the top view of the desert skiff on the right, the front of the sail barge on the left, the top shows off the minifigures again including Jabba, and the bottom mainly has just a lot of text. All these logos and icons are actually accurate, by the way. I copied all the text, logos, icons, symbols from the original box and put them on here, which took a while, but at least now it is all accurate according to how box designs are supposed to be, according to the rules, I guess. This does mean that the full box design is now pretty much fully... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Why does everything I ever visit in this galaxy have to blow up? Well, guys, I guess I'll get out of here and see you guys in a minute. We'll just have to steal like a shuttle or something. I don't know. Only one thing left to do for today, that is printing out the box. Now, I would have asked Gary, but, well, he's not available currently. I do have another contact, so I guess we're just gonna have to go... Oh, that cannot be good. I swear, guys, the universe is against me today. I just want a single moment of peace. Boom! Eat that bitch! This little dumb ass twat. I am so out of here. Let me just, Conveniently, in the back of this shuttle just so happens to be a printer. So once that's finished, we can smelt it together and finally see the finished design. I was gonna pretend I folded this up into the actual box, but I really didn't. This is actually just the Barrett Dur set box, which happens to be the exact same size. So the printed sticker has just been slapped on there instead, which is great because now you get basically the exact same kind of box finish as the real thing. So this is really more of a failed attempt, I guess. This was the only cardboard available and it's way too thick, so it would have looked really weird if you fold this up. The point is, now we have the original box over on this side and the new design right here. And what a world of difference. I just love how lively this new design is. It's very colorful and just a lot of stuff going on. Whereas the original, I will say, feels a bit more expensive, but it's also a lot less, you know, explosive. Now, I would say besides the technical aspects, of course, you couldn't really say one is better than the other. They just serve very different purposes and therefore neither of these are bad. I wouldn't say my design is somehow better than the original, but I do like it more. I will say, I do like seeing this type of thing a lot more than the rather plain premium black designs of Lego. This one just excites me more, I guess, and that's probably because of the kid inside of me. For fun, however, I also made a version with the same style I used for my previous box design. And as far as the context goes, this fits perfectly because this is Return of the Jedi look. The context is definitely the only thing though, because I really don't love the way this looks. The shape of the banner makes it very messy. The green color is alright, but it makes it look a bit too much like the 2013 Sail Barge. So yeah, no, I definitely prefer the original then. But I still wasn't done, because here's a version with the original official Lego style they have nowadays. The corner shape does in fact fit very, very well, I will say that, with the shape and everything, but still it feels like it's just missing something now. I'm not the biggest fan of this aesthetic, but still it's fun to see side by side. Guys, I would love to know what you thought of this design, of course, but also this video, because as you can probably tell, I spent way too long making this. I did have a ton of fun though. I really like making things explosive and funny and weird and, you know, that sort of stuff. But I should of course only do that if you guys enjoy it as well. So let me know, I guess, in the comments down below. And then for today, I guess that is finally pretty much it. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single future video. And then I hope I'll see you in the next one. No, this isn't gonna explode. We're good. Right? Eat that bitch ass little bitch ass. Boom! Eat that little. Bam! Eat this little bitch. No, it's bitch ass little dumbass. Boom! Eat that bitch ass little dumbass. Lots of protein in that. Oh, that's not good. We are here at the Imperial Photography Room. Hey, what's up? Let's go inside. I hope Palpatine doesn't mind if I borrow all this. There you go.